Campus Insiders following the Manti Te'o scandal. Joining us now on the phone, former Heisman Trophy winner and Irish legend Tim Brown, who spent time with Te'o just days ago. Tim, the first question to you, a pretty obvious one. What was your reaction when you heard that Manti Te'o had a fake girlfriend?
Well, obviously been on the phone all morning, all last night, trying to get to the bottom of this as much as I possibly could, because I knew I was going to be inundated with phone calls and things of that nature. So, and from everything I can gather, what people are saying is, hey, look, the investigators that we hired to go and look at this thing are coming back saying that the kid had nothing to do with it. And he was duped just like everybody else was duped. And it's unfortunate. It's a tragedy. I mean, because you're talking about a supposedly death of a kid, of a young lady. So anytime you start dealing like that, it brings down all kinds of emotions on folks. But right now, I mean, as far as the Notre Dame family, we all feel pretty bad for Manti. Certainly hope that none of this is true and on his part. And but at the same time, we got to find out who perpetrated this fraud, man, and go from there.
Tim, you know Manti Te'o personally. You've always remained close to the program there at Notre Dame. This seems so out of character for a man like Manti Te'o. Has this situation changed your opinion of him?
No, I mean, my opinion certainly does not change of him. I think that when you're 20, 21 years old, man, you're about as trusting as you can possibly be. And, I think the one thing that people are not throwing into this equation is the Mormon faith. And for him, this was like the perfect relationship. This was online. He didn't have to, worry about, going over some of the vows that they take. And, for him, this was like perfect. This was absolutely perfect. He didn't have to see it, didn't have to touch it, didn't have to be in that situation where, you want to do what every other 20-year-old is thinking about or talking about doing. And so I don't think people are taking that into consideration, how easily he could have fallen for this because of his religion. I believe this was a perfect place for him to be.
Tim, up until yesterday, we were all taken in by this emotional and tragic story. And now I think rightfully so, a lot of college football fans are questioning themselves. Who really is Manti Te'o? Is he the genuine young man that he all led us to believe? Again, you have a personal relationship with him. Who is the real Manti Te'o?
Well, of course, I've been in his presence, probably 10 times this season. I was with him just this past weekend at the Walter Camp Award. Had an opportunity to speak with him several times. And the thing that always came out, came in, and I told my wife this weekend, she was up there with me. I was like, this is just the nicest kid that I've ever met. And to think that a kid like that could be in a position or could possibly be the mastermind behind this deal. I just have a hard time believing that, man. And that's just from personal experience. That's not from being a Notre Dame guy, because there was a whole bunch of other guys I met up there that I didn't get that vibe from. But so anyway, I think this guy, man, is the real thing, and I would be shocked if it came out that he had anything to do.
Tim, this scandal has really put Te'o and the University of Notre Dame in a very hot spotlight. As an alum, how do you feel the university has handled the situation?
Well, I think they've handled it as best they possibly can at this particular point. If, in fact, they hired an investigator and, the investigator went out and did what they were supposed to do and came back and reported, as far as they could tell, that he wasn't involved, then I don't know what else they could possibly do. I mean, it's not like they found out yesterday and today they're making an announcement. They found this out the day after Christmas, and they did the investigation. I don't know how long that took, but obviously it took more than 1 or 2 days, and so for them to come out when they did, I think it's appropriate on their part in handling this in such a way that they gave it time to flush everything out. I don't believe, and because of my experience at the University of Notre Dame, if you're wrong as a player, they will expose you as being wrong as a player. They're not going to let the university go down on your behalf. So that being said, I think if there was anything to this with Manti, I think, and they knew about it, I think they would certainly divulge it to the country.
Tim, we all know the great lengths NFL personnel go through to really know the true quality of a football player both on and off the field. We know about the testing and the interviews. Do you think this situation at all changes his draft stock come April?
I don't see how it does, really. I really don't see how it does. I mean, look, this is the NFL, man. It's all about can you play football, you know, and unfortunately sometimes they don't care what you do in your off time, and I know they're trying to get a lot better at that, but this is not a criminal matter, you know, as far as I know right now, or there's no criminal investigation going on. There's not anything like that. It's not drugs. It's not anything illegal. This is a hoax, either, you know, that he perpetrated on the country or was perpetrated on himself. So I think from that standpoint, it doesn't affect, you know, what happens in the NFL at all. I mean, at worst case here, he's going to have a tremendous negative legacy, you know, so to speak, that he's going to have to deal with forever. People are going to always ask him about what happened back in 2012, 2013. But you know, I don't think that affects, you know, his draft status at all.
Heisman Trophy winner and former Irish great Tim Brown, thanks so much for taking some time with us today. For more on this continuing story out of South Bend, be sure to bookmark this website, campusinsiders.com.